Hi, I'm Matt Barlow with Barlow's Tackle, and today we're going to introduce you to worm molds. I love pouring worms. This is one of my favorite aspects of the hobby of lure making. Today I'm going to introduce you to some of the different types of worm molds and how each one works and what the pluses and minuses are of each one. But first, a few important safety points. When you are pouring worms, it's very important you do it in a well-ventilated area. Hot liquid plastic does give off fumes that are hazardous to your health. You should also always wear safety glasses, a respirator, and appropriate clothing for pouring. The tools and materials you use for pouring worms should not be used for anything else, especially food. Finally, you should keep any moisture away from your worm making materials. Hot liquid plastic and water are a potentially explosive combination. Now, there are a couple of different types of worm molds we're going to talk about. The first is open pore worm molds. If you are just starting out, I recommend you try an open pore mold to see if you'll really like pouring your own worms. There are a couple of different types of open pore worm molds we offer at Barlow's Tackle. The first is made out of RTV, which is a rubber-like material. The second is made from milled aluminum. Both are used in the exact same way. You simply take your mold, place it on a flat surface, pour in your hot liquid plastic, let it cool, and you're done. Now, the one downside to open pore molds such as these is that because you're pouring it on a flat surface, the baits you pour tend to have one flat side. It's not a big deal if you're pouring baits like crawfish that tend to have a flat side anyway, but it is something to consider. If you want a fully round bait, you should consider an injection mold. Unlike the open pore molds that are one piece, injection molds have two pieces. They also have a port that you inject your liquid plastic into. Because these are injection molds, they produce fully round baits. So if you're wanting a bait that is round or three-dimensional and has both sides to it, you want to go with an injection mold. Injection molds do tend to be more expensive than open pore molds because they're larger and they have more parts to them and they require more work to build. Now, we offer a couple of different types of injection molds. The first are the Do It Essentials molds that are cast aluminum, and the second are traditional CNC milled injection molds. The primary difference between the two is in the quality of baits they produce. Essential Series molds, because they are cast in aluminum, tend to have a rougher surface on the interior, and that produces baits with a slightly rougher surface. The benefit of that, though, is that these molds are far less expensive than CNC milled molds, typically about half the price. What I generally tell customers is if you're just starting out pouring, or you just want to try an injection mold for the first time, go with the Do It Essential Series molds. The quality of the baits is still superb, and frankly, when they're in the water, the fish won't know the difference. Now, if you're wanting to sell your baits, or if you simply want to make the best looking baits possible, you really need to go with a CNC milled mold. Because these are milled out of solid blocks of aluminum, they have mirror smooth finishes inside, and the baits that come out of them are equally smooth and beautiful. For both of these types of molds, you will need a liquid plastic injector to get started. Because of this, injection molding is a more expensive way to get into the hobby than an open pore mold. Thank you for watching our introduction to worm molds. If you can't be on the water, there's no better way to spend your time than making your own worms. You can always find us at barlowstackle.com if you have any questions. I'm Matt Barlow. Thanks and good fishing.